like if I had the perfect body? I've probably asked myself that question over a million times. But the real question is, what is a perfect body? I need to establish that first. So in this video, we are going to discover exactly what a perfect body looks like. So this is my body now in 2023, and I want it to be perfect. So the question is, what do I need to change? Well, if I was born in the Renaissance era, my view of this perfect ideal for my body might be a little bit different. I probably would want my body to be curvy, voluptuous, big-breasted, wide hips, maybe a rounded stomach, pale skin, and slightly flushed cheeks, with a soft, round face. The goal in this era was to look really healthy and well-nourished, as it was a big sign of social status and wealth. So those round cheeks and that soft belly were definitely more than welcome during this time. If you've ever been in a museum and you've seen Renaissance art or Renaissance statues, you'll see this ideal image of a woman portrayed in many of the artistry's work at that time.
So if I was in the Renaissance era, my body would go from this to this, curvy and flushed cheeks, pale skin, and a rounded stomach.
But here's the thing, if we fast forward just a little bit to 1910, I would want my body to look like a Gibson Girl. What is a Gibson Girl? Let's go over this. A Gibson Girl is someone with a pinched waist, a big bust, rounded hips. She needed to be slim, yet at the same time curvaceous. What the feat to accomplish. I probably would be wearing a corset to achieve this silhouette because it's probably going to be really hard to achieve it naturally, and this is indeed what a lot of women did at the time. They cinched in their waist, they puffed up their skirts to kind of give them this Gibson Girl look. We classically see this look with famous people like Camille Clifford and Evelyn Nesbit.
If I was a Gibson Girl, I would have to cinch in my waist, grow my booty, and be small and petite on my upper body.
But in 1920, the ideal image of a woman changed again. Now it was all about the flapper girl. Think Olive Thomas and Elise Joyce. The flapper girls were quite slim and had more boyish features. With a straight flat chest and narrow hips. I'd probably have my hair short in a little like bob, or maybe like tied down in a little like sleek low bun. And this truly, honestly, was one of the first times we saw society at large kind of go against or move away from the curvaceous nature of women before. Now with the kind of societal trends, we're, getting out of World War I. There was a rejection of traditional gender roles, and I think it's just quite interesting that at that time that we're taking on a lot of independence and a lot of strength. We're finally getting our strength back after the war, and we're kind of releasing these gender roles. It's just quite interesting to see now the ideal image of a woman was more so that of like a young boy, a young man, right? No boobs, flat, skinny, not really much going on there. This was the popular ideal of that day, and it was portrayed in popular culture through advertising, movies, and other media.
If I was in the 1920s, I would have a boxy-shaped body, something a little bit like this.
But what happens if we fast forward again another 30 years into the 1950s? We see that the ideal version of a woman changes again. Now waking supplements are a thing, and bigger is better, and we have popular figures like Marilyn Monroe really take the stage. And this is what's so fascinating. This post-World War II world was now a time where we were going back a little bit to traditional gender roles. Now it was all about having a woman who would stay at home and cook you brisket, and who would be and voluptuous and curviness and all of that kind of came back into style. The girls that were desired at this time were curvy, feminine, with a huge emphasis on that hourglass figure. So if I wanted the perfect body, it's gonna have to look quite different than it did in 1920s because, well, skinny's out and voluptuous and big was in.
I would probably be curvaceous like this, but also have like a small waist. Don't mind my beyond awful face tuning editing abilities. I know it's awful, guys, but I don't edit my photos, so I would probably look something maybe a little bit like this.
But maybe I shouldn't change so fast because the swinging 60s come around pretty quickly. And that was the time where, popular models like Twiggy and Jean Shrimpton popularized this skinny, very kind of frail, maybe a little bit malnourished look. During the 60s, there was yet again a huge shift in cultural and societal norms. It was a decade of social upheaval with the civil rights movement and the women's liberation movement. And overall, the big counterculture movement that was happening at that time that was really challenging, again, a lot of the traditional values, morals, and roles. We definitely during this time shifted far away from the curvaceous hourglass figure of the 1950s and adopted a more streamlined athletic look where girls were encouraged to be slim and toned with long, lean legs as if they had a say in whether their legs were long or not, and a very small bust. Like, girls were flat-chested, or the ideal of a woman at that time was flat-chested. And we tend to see girls at this time have more of that natural, fresh-looking face, not a lot of makeup, something that just looked, again, very natural and youthful. Not too over-the-top feminine, kind of just simple.
All right, I would be petite, petite, petite. I'd probably have to shave off quite a few pounds on my body to be able to match this body ideal. Very, very thin legs, super small waist, kind of boxy-ish and yeah, just overall very petite.
But let's swing through the 70s, let's swing through the 80s, let's swing through the 90s, even though that was the year I was born. And let's head on over to 2010. Let's call this the Kardashian Era, shall we? This is when athletic, slim, thick, and big booty, all of a sudden became a big thing. And I think, with social media really, coming into popularity during that decade, I feel like that narrative of what a woman's body should look like, or the ideal of what a perfect body was definitely emphasized in such a large way. This is why things like getting a BBL became super, super popular, because this new societal pressure to look a certain way in order to be deemed sexy and attractive. So this look definitely asks you to have a slim, toned waist. Abs are now really a thing of we want to see visible abs, and yet we want someone to have a big booty, hips, yet toned, long, lean legs, and also boobs. Good luck, ladies, with this one. Lean, muscular, yet curvy. Easy peasy, guys. I got it.
Now, being in this era, I didn't try and reach the body ideal, obviously, mainly because it is quite impossible for me to have a big booty and to have a small stomach. If I gain weight, I will gain weight everywhere, and so there's no picking or choosing here. So I would probably look something like this, though, if I was able to achieve this aesthetic.
But now, here we are in 2023. What does a perfect body look like now? And I have to ask myself questions of, is it worth shifting and changing my current body size and shape, which is very natural to me? Is it worth shifting and changing that just for a societal ideal, which is most likely going to change in the next decade? And then the next question is, if I do decide to shift and to change my body to really fit what the ideal image is in this current day, what are the repercussions going to be, both mentally and physically for me? And of course, even if I do all of that, will it help me be more happy? Is that the key to my happiness? Is that the key to my success? Simply just having a different body shape that's more accepted by society? Those are the questions that need to be asked. And I think so many of us have gone on this journey of trying to shift and to change our body to fit these societal ideals. And I don't know, I ask myself at 80 years old, if I continue on that path, am I going to look back at, my life, and am I going to be sad that I spent so many years just trying to look like how I was quote unquote supposed to, instead of just embracing what was given to me, finding a style that really matches my energy and matches my body type and that accentuates all the beautiful things that I have with my natural body shape. Like, am I gonna be mad that I, really tried to push for a certain ideal, wasting a lot of time at the gym, dieting, stressing out about my body, having bad body image days, like constantly over analyzing my body? Or am I gonna think at 80 years old, like, hey, I wish I kind of let loose a little bit more, and I wish I kind of lived and experienced my body more than trying to make it feel like an ornament that was there to just kind of please the world? So, ladies, I can't answer those questions for you. That is something that you need to answer yourself. Is it worth it? Do you truly want to do this? Is this truly a meaningful thing for you to aspire to in your life? Simply just being at the perfect ideal for that decade. And hopefully this video helped you see that this ideal changes all of the time. So you might be hating your body right now, but in a decade, your body's gonna be the thing that's the most praised. And then how are you gonna feel when you're like, wow, I actually over-exercised and restricted so much that my natural curves are gone and now curves are back in. Oh my gosh, it's just absolutely exhausting. At least I know for me on my journey, as I did kind of get swept up into this idea of I need to maintain the perfect body image, I feel like I was just exhausted all the time, and I feel like I was really stressed out, anxious, and tired. And I decided that I don't want to live my life like that anymore. And I really tapped into the light that I have in myself, that I wanted to share with the world. And I am really thankful that I chose just honoring and respecting the body that I have now without feeling like I need to shift or change it, simply just to abide by a societal ideal of what they think the perfect body is. I hope that that video was extraordinarily helpful for you. I really recommend you watching a couple other of my videos right here. They are going to help you along this path of learning how to feel good in your body and learning how to have a healthy relationship with food. So I definitely recommend one of these two videos next.